ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
As Vice Chancellor and Principal, I hereby constitute this congregation of Central University of Technology, Free State, for the purpose of officially opening the university and welcoming the students and staff for the academic year 2014.
Before I invite the Vice Chancellor to the podium, it is proper for me to introduce him briefly. He is no stranger to higher education. He holds a Doctor of Philosophy in Mathematics. He has served a number of higher education institutions in leadership capacities. He was the campus manager of Vista University, Welkom. He has also served both Durban Westville University as well as Wits University as a Deputy Vice Chancellor. Since 2007 to date, he is the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the Central University of Technology, Free State, and is currently serving a second term. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Mthembu to the podium.
In absentia, Dr. Butrowski, Chancellor of Central University of Technology, Free State, Dr. Sylvan Siani, Chairperson of Council, and members of Council that are present. I have seen Councillor Viwe Kweku, I have seen Councillor Glebohile Dilojotle, and many other members of Council who are actually internal members of staff in the student body. I'm addressing myself to members of the CUT executive and senior management, members of the academic and support staff. In absentia, Mr. David Makwadi, SRC President Bloemfontein, who is currently on suspension as from the 4th of February. Mr. Lerato Lipata, the SRC President from our Welkom campus. Members of the SRC at large, I understand they are not here. Probably that has to do with the suspension of 5 members of the SRC as of Monday. Students, parents, guardians, and members of family, sponsors and donors of our students and our university, distinguished guests from the business community, from the provincial and local governments, ladies and gentlemen. It's very hot here, and with the regalia we are wearing, and I'm sorry that I have to just take a minute to take off things that make me hot, too hot. I have to take this off, I'm sorry. So I'm going to put this down. I'm already sweating. I will try and keep this as much as I can. A university assembly is a special occasion at any university. Unlike graduation ceremonies, for example, this particular one brings the whole CUT family and its stakeholders. It brings them together officially to open the university, and today this Central University of Technology, Free State. This is a university where people think beyond the box, as some have invented. When people say something is a cut above the rest, that word cut, you must always remember it's undoubtedly C-U-T, isn't it? More important is that, unlike many universities, CUT also uses this occasion to publicly present our major objectives for each year. The year 2014 is the start of CUT's midterm period, which is part of our Vision 2020, and it requires stretch objectives that will cover this midterm period. I wish to address a special word of welcome to our students and their families. We celebrate with you today your entry into university education. We are here to assist you in this learning process, and we wish to see you flourish here at CUT and anywhere else you'll find yourselves after graduating in 3 years. And if you have come here to do other things, you might graduate, of course, in 4, 5, or 6 years, or never graduate at all. May you grow from strength to strength and accomplish all you have set your minds to here at CUT. It will require determination, self-discipline, hard work, and diligence, amongst many other values. It is indeed one of the most important steps that anyone could take in preparing themselves for success in life henceforth. Remember the cliche, knowledge is power. You have just started the process of empowering yourself through your studies to become the best that you can be. We embrace you as part of our family, and we are looking forward to assist you in your journey of lifelong learning. You will have opportunities here to develop not only intellectually, but socially as well. There will be lots of support to your intellectual, moral, spiritual, emotional, and physical health. The new building, relatively new now, just in front of this hall over there, and the Lapeng Center to the west of it are dedicated to a host of student support services in all the areas I've mentioned above. You will have absolutely no reason to succumb to alcohol, to drunken bashes, to sex orgies that go viral, to drugs, to HIV and AIDS, and the like. There will be no reason for you with all the support that we will provide. Like many of the staff members seated here, as you can see, and many others in the audience who studied engineering, hotel and tourism management, graphic design, photography, fine arts, clinical technology, education, and many other academic fields, we believe we will make you a leader in the field of your choice. Like Os Durant and Andre Venter, who studied here, some of you will be great rugby players. In fact, we are the current champion of the Varsity Shield rugby competition. On Monday, 27 January, the UKZN Impies were sent packing down the Drakensberg after they got beaten here. CUT punches much above its weight. The 4 other universities we competed against, UKZN, University of KwaZulu-Natal, Tshwane University of Technology, Fort Hare, and the University of the Western Cape, have a total of about 300 years of life and experience. We only have 33 years of existence, but we beat them hands down, and we continue to beat them hands down every time. UWC, the University of the Western Cape, is coming on Monday, the 10th of February, to be served their staple diet. Come and watch it happen on Monday. One of our own, Trevor Nyakane, played for the Springboks last year against Italy. Siabelo Snatla and Chris Dry are playing for the Springbok 7-a-side team in Wellington, New Zealand this weekend. Like Nicky Boyer, who studied here, some of you will become great cricket players. No doubt, the CUT cricket team is the regional champion in cricket. Dean Elgar is in the Proteas cricket team squad for the coming test series against Australia. That starts next Wednesday. Who remembers Zola Bad, one of the greatest distance runners of our country? Like she had a taxi named after her, you may just have the Gautrain named after you. And I think our council member, Ms. Vuyeqeku, could make that happen. Just one other good thing about CUT, more especially to the new students and their families. The city of Bloemfontein provides a very stable and calm environment. But I can tell you that the location of CUT's Bloemfontein campus does that even more. To the west, just outside the university's main gate, is the Park Road police station. Should anything untoward happen to a student, we do not even have to call the police. We just shout out, and they walk in and deal with whatever the problem is. This was demonstrated spectacularly on Monday when a group of about 30 or so students got overexcited and attempted, without much success, to disrupt late registrations and classes. So we are safe to the west. But even when you go to the east of the campus, there are two churches there, the Catholic and the Anglican cathedrals, that provide almost on-site spiritual and moral care to all of us at CUT Bloemfontein campus. Whilst you are in class or writing an examination, you can easily overhear the prayers and feel the Holy Spirit engulfing you into passing your examination. This is our big secret. Perhaps as a result of this big secret, we have one of the highest pass rates in our sector. But it's not only the west and the east that makes us safe and secured. Once we have strayed away from our godly ways that come from the east, from the churches, and once the discipline of the police from the west has been exercised, to the north of us are courts, including the Supreme Court, that we just walk to when there are issues that require pronouncement of guilt or innocence. Depending on how the internal processes go with the 10 suspended students, we might just find ourselves there with them on Monday or any other day. So we just walk around. We're all safe. There are these people who do not study on time, who bash their evenings away, and then they try to cram a whole year's work a few days before an examination. Sometimes then some screws come off their heads. But don't worry. To the south is a psychiatric hospital that quickly deals with such cases. So you don't have to call your mother to come from Aliwal North or whatever. The hospital is just close by. So we are really very safe. Whether you go west or east or north or south. In fact, there are other secrets that I have not revealed. I will reveal them some other time, about places of safety that are all around. I should begin my address by taking you back to a perfect day in our history as South Africans. Almost 20 years ago, on 27 April 1994, South Africa cast aside centuries of discrimination and oppression to form a new society built on the foundation of freedom and democracy. We are therefore gathered here today, not only for us to reflect on the achievements of our 33-year-old young university, but also to cherish this important and significant moment in our country's history. We are gathered here to appreciate the impact of that significant moment in the transformation of higher education. The year 2014, therefore, presents an opportunity for the people of South Africa, the continent, and the rest of the world to join us in celebrating the South African story. The most famous fighter for our freedom is, of course, the late Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. We will forever cherish his memory as we remain inspired by his courage in helping us to create a non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous nation. His contribution in advancing the cause of education remains invaluable and in so many respects unprecedented. It was a singular proud moment in our history when in 2001, after he stepped down from being president of the country, the Central University of Technology Free State conferred on Mr. Mandela the Doctor of Technology in Education honoris causa, honorary degree. I must emphasize the fact that our experience of democratic freedom has led us as an academic community along an eventful and transformative path, one of which you might say has changed the higher education landscape completely in so many ways. The recent changes in the Higher Education Act, signed into law in December 2012, although retrogressive, were clearly precipitated by the stand that Central University of Technology took as a university against unwarranted ministerial interference. The stand we took caused the whole sector to notice and rise up. As part of this national transformation agenda following the democratic transition, CUT was established as a fully fledged University of Technology in 2004 through the amalgamation of the former Technikon Free State and the Welkom campus of Vista University. Thus, as much as we are only 33 years old as an academic institution, we are only 10 years old as a University of Technology, which, in terms of university life, is quite a short period. The change in designation to a University of Technology compelled us to rethink our position as a University of Technology fit for purpose. This meant that, amongst other things, CUT had to revise its plans, policies, rules, regulations, constitutions, manuals, and so forth. These have included the university's planning cycle, our strategic plan, including our annual operational plan, a new SRC constitution, a new language policy that got us into trouble, a revised admissions policy, the transformation vision document and the equity and excellence position, the leadership charter, and many other documents we have developed to make ourselves fit for purpose. In 2010, Council is the body that governs this university, or universities in general. It approved a new vision statement we call Vision 2020 and other associated plans. For those who are unfamiliar with Vision 2020, it simply states, by 2020, Central University of Technology shall be an engaged university that focuses on producing quality social and technological innovations in social economic development, primarily in the central region of South Africa. There is no doubt in our minds that we will attain this vision. After all, the famous American author Ralph Waldo Emerson very eloquently pointed out, and I quote, "We are limited not only by our abilities, but by our vision." Our vision pushes us beyond the boundaries of what we thought had been possible. It has made us think beyond the box, as I said earlier, as we seek to become a cut above the rest, as I said earlier. Students, staff, families of our students and staff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the year 2014 is both an end and a beginning. It is the end of the first phase, 2010 to 2013, of our implementation of Vision 2020 and the beginning of the second phase, 2014 to 2017, of taking strides in our academic core. I'm therefore going to do two things simultaneously. I'll take you back through our achievements and challenges of the first phase, 2010 to 2013, because I stand here in order to account to the university community about what happened last year or over the last 3 or 4 years, and also to help plan into the next phase, 2014-2017. I will identify the challenges CUT will work hard to meet during this phase, but with a special focus on the year 2014. Based on the university's strategic plan, the theme of this year's State of the University Address is From Steps to Strides in the Academic Core of the University. From Steps to Strides. Over and above what we have already done over the last 3 or 4 years, the academic core needs to be consolidated and embedded much more for CUT to be the great and competitive university it wishes to be. The academic core will always have to get special attention in everything we do because it is our lifeblood as a university. As you can clearly notice, the theme of this year's address has the word steps. For us, the English word steps stands for Strategic Transformation of Educational Programs and Structures. It is about the steps we took between 2010 and 2012 to reimagine our curricula. We shall hear more about this later. The other word, strides, for us stands for Strategic Implementation and Development of our Entrepreneurial Systems. Thanks to Professor Rake Lewis, who is seated here, our champion for our many crazy ideas, for helping to invent this new meaning of the word strides. Since especially 2010, we have made a number of advances. As mentioned above, our strategic plan identifies the first phase of implementation as the period 2010 to 2013. This phase has been about building a strong and solid foundation for CUT to prosper in all respects. However, as much as we've done everything, as much as we had the STEPS process and all its successes, and many other things we've done over the last period, there remain 4 grand challenges we have to face squarely into the second phase, 2014 to 2017, of our advancement as a university. Grand Challenge 1 is about consolidation and embedding. And the relevant questions here, thank you very much. The relevant questions in respect of how we consolidate and embed the things that we've been doing since 2010 are the following. How do we consolidate and or maintain and or mainstream the foundations we have built since perhaps 2007 or more especially since 2010 so that we do not recede into mediocrity whilst we continue to think we are making strides during this next phase, 2014 to 2017. That's a big challenge we have to face over the next 3 to 4 years, starting this year. The grand challenge number 2 is about relevance, excellence, and quality. And the relevant questions are, how do we assure the relevance and quality of our entire suite of academic program offerings, much beyond what we did between 2010 and 2012, so that we remain a credible, competitive, and respectable university. No university is worth its name if it cannot assure relevance, excellence, and quality in its programs. The third grand challenge is with respect to research and innovation. And it relates to the second challenge of relevance, excellence, and quality. Because once again, without research and innovation, no university is worth its name. Just like no university is worth its name without relevance, excellence, and quality. So these two related challenges mean that we have to look deeper into how we could enhance our research and innovation outputs and become more competitive in the sector so that, again, we remain worthy of the name university. The fourth grand challenge is with respect to outcomes and impact of everything we do. It's not good to be prolific researchers and innovators. It's not enough to have your programs that are relevant and of excellent quality. And having done all of those things we could do in relevance, excellence, quality, in research and innovation, how do we realize the necessary outcomes in the broader societal development arena in this country? Be it social, be it economic, be it environmental. So how do we reassert our institutional legitimacy and even hegemony as a university in this society? How do we lead society and help to improve the quality of life of our people and make them see it as worthwhile to invest in higher education because they see the outcomes in their daily lives? So as I report on our achievements and help to chart the way forward, I will keep these challenges in mind, these four challenges in mind, and give a sense of what we shall do to meet them. To help me, because we have an implementation framework, to help me go through these grand challenges and give you a sense of what we shall be doing henceforth during the second phase, 2014-2017, there are four things that we always have to think about as CUT. We call them the 4 Ps. It's about our plans, it's about our people, it's about our products, it's about our pennies, our money. So when you look at each of the 4 challenges, be it consolidation and embedding, be it relevance, excellence and quality, be it research and innovation, be it outcomes and impact, we always here at CUT have to examine what plans do we have, what people do we have to achieve the objectives we have, what relevant, excellent, and quality products are we going to churn out there for socio-economic development, and lastly, what money do we have? What resources do we have? Be they equipment, be they people, whatever resources you can think about, be they about money. And that's the pennies that we talk about. So we've done a lot of planning here since especially 2010. We reorganized our academic planning unit for it to focus on academe. And for broader university planning, we set up the strategy execution unit, not only to help us to devise and refine our plans and strategies, but to help to execute them too. We initiated a number of projects, new structures and units like the CUT Innovation Services, CUTIS, or otherwise known as the Trust, CUT Trust. It's a dedicated unit for commercialization of our intellectual property as a university. It works as an independent business entity to cut the red tape and the bureaucracy that universities all over have. We have a project on sustainability that leads our efforts towards education for sustainable development and our efforts towards environmentally friendly infrastructure and resources. We've got the Higher Education Leadership Skills Academy, which is for specialized training and advancement of our staff and our graduates. We've got the Schools Advancement Academy that coordinates all our school-focused projects. We've got the Free State IT Hub that is meant to turn the Free State into an IT hub in software development. We have a revamped marketing and communications section. We have a new international office in place. The list is long. But having done all of these without necessarily asking for any new funding from our council and the university reserves, but by simply being efficient with the revenue and the resources we have available, we have some challenges, as I have said before. And with respect to our planning activities and the new structures and units we have set up, the biggest challenge we face is the challenge of consolidation and embedding. So, what we'll have to tackle henceforth as 2014 starts are the following. The main idea behind strategic projects was that as projects that emanate from fresh, unorthodox, and crazy ideas, they would be incubated for a short period. And once robust systems would have been developed around them, they would be mainstreamed. This has not happened with quite a number of these projects we set up. Thus, a number of systems will have to be developed so that there will be more clarity about the operations of these projects as they get mainstreamed. Mainstreaming shall mean, amongst others, consolidation of these projects within the related departments or sections. Some of them will have to be culled to ensure they live within the means, and some will simply have to be outphased in order for us to focus on what works much better. In 2014 and beyond, all of these projects mentioned above will collectively cost the university about 28 million rand. This is in addition to our normal budget, headline budget of about over half a billion rand on run-of-the-mill operations, capital expenditure, and salaries, including activities that are also related to the ones that I've mentioned above. So the 28 million rand is to kickstart and help to facilitate a number of these projects over and above what they normally get from our budget, normal budget. And I hope that these projects will require much less funds over the next few years, as some really have to begin to produce their own revenue. I've been dealing with our planning and building our foundation. I now want to move quickly to our products. You may be a bit confused when one uses the word products. Our products, by the way, are not our students. We don't produce students here. Products are things that people produce. People produce products. Students are actually people, not products. They are people who, together with our academics and researchers seated here, innovate and co-create and co-produce our products. In the laboratories, our products come from the laboratories. Our products come from the ideas that are shared, that are imparted in the classrooms, that are collectively co-created with our students. So, we are not having students as products, we are not having students as customers in the true sense of the word customer. We have them as part of the people that make this institution what it is. During the period up to 2012, we reviewed our academic products. Our academics conceptualized, designed, and produced 9 new innovative programs in a number of fields that the 21st century demands we must focus on. Programs in renewable energy, in agriculture and food safety, water management, in studio art and design, in education, in health management, in community development work, and sustainability in general, as in renewable energy and other programs. The broad-based and organic initiative we embarked upon to produce all these programs was called STEPS, that I talked to earlier. Yes, remember that we are going from those steps to strides. The steps that commenced in 2010, but that have to transform into strides as we move into 2014 up to 2017. We are extremely thrilled about the approval by the Department of Higher Education and Training of these 9 new programs. That happened in 2013. Of these 9 programs, the following 4 have been accredited by the Council for Higher Education and registered by the South African Qualifications Authority and will be offered as from this year. They are being offered as we speak. There are the Higher Certificate in Renewable Energy Technologies, the Advanced Diploma in Agricultural Extension, the Diploma in Studio Art, and the Bachelor of Radiography, or Bachelor in Radiography. In addition to these 4 new programs, we are in the process of, and the other 5 that we'll be introducing in 2015. We are in the process of introducing work-integrated learning in all our programs. We have introduced a core curriculum that should help all CUT students get a broad-based understanding of important fields of academic endeavor and prepare themselves to be broad-minded, creative, innovative, productive, and versatile graduates. With the STEPS process and many other curriculum development initiatives, the relevance, excellence, and quality of academic programs have improved appreciably. A number of our programs, especially engineering programs, are accredited by professional organizations. Some of those organizations have commented thus about our programs. Steve Lyons, who is the registrar of a quantity surveying professional organization, had this to say in 2013, I quote, "CUT is currently the best university of technology in quantity surveying in South Africa." In its accreditation report on a number of engineering programs, the Engineering Council of South Africa had this to say in 2012, and I quote, "The first time since 2008 that a civil engineering program obtained an outright accreditation during a single visit." Now I need to explain this a bit. The Engineering Council of South Africa goes around all universities to accredit their engineering programs mainly. So in civil engineering, since 2008, they had never found a university that passes the threshold of accreditation in a single visit. Most universities, they go there, they try to do an accreditation process. They have to come back the following year to check whether they are actually doing what was recommended. With CUT, in 2012, that program was accredited without any comebacks. I talked earlier about the inspiration we get from the East. With regards to student throughput, the overall CUT success rate continues to improve. And in 2012, it exceeded the Department of Higher Education and Training target of 75%, reaching 77%. So if you are a new student, you are becoming part of a university where excellence and success are very important, and where we don't talk about it, but we actually do it. In 2012, the total CUT graduation headcount was 3,159 graduates, exceeding the target of 2,650 that had been set by the Department of Higher Education and Training. Thank you. Now, having rattled all of these successes we have made, the book, published in 2005 by Jim Collins, entitled Good to Great, was actually made to be my Bible by council when I joined CUT in 2007. The chairperson of council, Dr. Siane, and Ms. Viwe Qegu, member of council, will remember that there was a team that was set up to guide me as 2007 began. Amongst the members of the team was Professor Kali Stradom. I think he's retired now. He gave me this book. In fact, at some stage, I felt like I was going to be tested on the ideas and principles about this book. The way Professor Kali Stradom kept on emphasizing how important this book is. Of course, I read the book. One of the things Jim Collins says in this book to some of those challenges of relevance, quality, excellence, consolidation, and embedding. During the STEPS process, we identified a number of programs that are either suboptimal or are not delivered to meet the needs of the market or are plain outdated and need to be outphased. From the year 2014, we need to work harder on doing just that, to clean up our program and qualifications mix. A lot has been done by the Academic Planning Unit, which also manages our quality assurance system, to ensure that regular reviews of our programs are done each year, and to ensure that we have better documents that get submitted to all sorts of organizations for our programs to be properly accredited. From 2014, we need to align our standards of assessment and judgment and our processes of developing curricula and base all of that on the relevance, excellence, and equity of our programs across the board and along the lines of the STEPS process for all programs that we may recurriculate or any other better approach that might be available. There needs to be a special focus on what we call the Welcome Campuses program and qualifications mix. With added infrastructure that we have begun to put in place, to what extent could we expand and or realign programs at this campus so that they are responsive to the environment, they are demand-driven, and they are user-oriented? As a university of technology, how technological is the education we provide? From the services we provide in the library to curricula that we offer in humanities, engineering, and all the other faculties. How could the education we provide be more easily accessible, not only to the 13,500 or so students we expect to register this year, or to have registered, I haven't checked the latest figures, but to the working adult in the central region that wants to improve his or her level of education and become a 21st century knowledge worker. With a sizable number of part-time lecturers, we cannot easily increase our research and innovation outputs and assure the quality of our academic programs. We need to examine this practice and only retain those who have unique industry-related contributions to make. We have challenges in maintaining the shape of our university as a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics-focused university at close to 50% of our student body by 2020. There are other universities of technology that are close to 50% or are already at this proportion. Why not us? We are at about 43% right now, and our target is higher than that. Yes, we need to get an adequate supply of qualified high school graduates into these programs, and they are not easy to come by. But there are efforts that we can put in place, and you'll hear more later about some of these initiatives that are implemented through the Schools Advancement Academy. In 2014, all of these initiatives in teaching and learning will cost us, in addition to, as I've said, funds that come from the over $500 million normal budget that we have, will cost us about $7.5 million to drive them strategically, as a minimum. In addition to teaching and learning and community engagement, I have emphasized earlier how research and innovation is the third pillar of our mission as a university. It distinguishes a university from any other further or higher education institution. We have seen improvements in our research outputs. CUT recorded an increase of 20% in research outputs in 2012 compared to 2011. We haven't got the results for 2013 as yet. You will hopefully be pleased to know that at 28% of our permanent staff, CUT has the highest percentage of staff with doctoral degrees amongst universities of technology. Thanks to our partners, our total external research income exceeded 7.6 million rand for 2013. This helped greatly to scale up our research outputs. Having quoted all of these interesting figures and wanting to be great and not to frolic, I'm dealing with people here. What have we done to enhance the quality of our people? The question, therefore, is what CUT has been doing to align its human resources. And when I talk about human resources, I'm not only talking about staff, I'm also talking about students. Whilst in the past, the university has had a support staff to academic staff expenditure ratio of 51% to 49% in favor of support staff. As of 2014, this expenditure ratio will be 61% for academe and 39% for support services. So we've changed that around to show everybody that we put our resources where our mouths are. We did this through a very painful but ultimately gainful process of abolishing a number of support staff positions and through retrenchments. This allowed the creation of about 60 new academic posts since 2009. In addition, the academic structure has been revised. A more nimble two-tier system comprising deans and HODs was implemented in 2013. Currently, 21 of the 22 HOD positions have been filled on a permanent basis, with 20 of them held by academics with PhDs. We paid a lot more attention to encouraging and supporting a transformative institutional culture that encourages our people to be transformative, creative, innovative, and productive. That encourages our people to deliberate and participate meaningfully in the life of our university and to engage meaningfully with business industry, with government, and with broader society in what we call quad helix partnerships. Ultimately, the quality of any institution is as good as the knowledge, innovations, quality, and skills of its people. Fostering a culture of dialogue, deliberation, respect for logic, and the rule of law, discipline, and diversity, that fostering of that culture remains a priority for us. The university initiated several institutional forums for engagements. In 2012, we recently established an A-team, which consists of more than 50 staff members and students who contribute their crazy ideas towards the advancement of Vision 2020. For example, the A-team cluster on talent management, consisting of two groups, one for academia and the other for support services, is now playing an active role in the recruitment process to assist the whole university to identify the best talent to join us here. We believe A people who have nothing to prove about their capabilities attract other A people. We believe that a B person who has not much to show will attract a C or a D person so that they could then show themselves as of relative worth. So that's why we're interested in A people. The aesthetics cluster of this A team, I referred to earlier, has made substantial progress towards the creation of a world-class campus environment. Academe is about contemplation, and if you think that it's all about being in the laboratory or in the classroom rather than the rest of the environment, the artistic forms that you find all around yourself, you might never be able to contemplate as much as academics are expected to do. So you will see a number of sculptures and a number of things that are happening around the campus. And some of you might say, this is a waste of money. Why are we having this statue? Well, a university is about looking at that statue, spending an hour looking at it and thinking about what it means. And if you do that, you might do that better in your classroom, whether in civil engineering or anywhere else. An institutional climate survey was professionally conducted in August-September 2013. I must quote a few things from this survey. In the conclusion of the report to the survey, the report reflects a situation which falls in the developmental area, and although it is slightly positive, it is a slightly positive overall picture, it is indeed of developmental attention to improve on what already exists. Staff were significantly positive overall at 83% with regard to the work being meaningful, academic 82%, and support 84%. Also, they reported very positively on their work being challenging. The areas rated as very positive, especially finding work meaningful and that it contributes to the overall objectives of CUT, are indications of sound practices and contribute to a success recipe for the Central University of Technology's future growth. This is from the report, it's not from me. At CUT, we value our students and support them to the best of our ability to ensure that they are able to perform at their peak. Many of our students face an array of challenges, from financial limitations to the absence of a firm support base at home, and these are vital for any student to succeed. In our efforts to ensure that our students are receiving the best support, the Student Mentorship Program has been introduced in 3 faculties as a strategic intervention. The aim of this program is to provide students with a supportive environment that will motivate and assist them to develop to their maximum personal and academic potential. It provides a framework for positive interaction between students, mentors, and lecturing staff. It also creates an atmosphere that helps especially first-year students to understand and manage the challenges of campus life. What is a university without its sports and recreation? I've been talking about civil engineering, excellence, quality of academic programs. I told you earlier about the success of our sports. I told you about our rugby team. Our football team won the Castle League and was promoted to the Vodacom League. Another significant achievement was from the CUT's golf team, which won the USSA golf tournament at Coral Creek. Apart from sports, there are other extracurricular activities that our students immersed themselves in last year. In August 2013, the CUT choir obtained first position in the Lingau Choral Association competition held in Bethlehem. The CUT Dance Society obtained first, second, third, and fifth positions in level 1 ballroom dance, first position in levels 2 and 3 ballroom dance, and first and second position in the all-ladies section for the Open Queen's Birthday Dance Sports Competition in June 2013. Let us congratulate all the teams, the coaches, and the sports administrators that performed so well in 2013. So without doubt, as much as we have our secrets of success coming from the East, and that show in a success rate of 77% overall, CUT is one of the leading sports-oriented universities in this country, given the information I've just provided you. I hope our students and those who are new will make 2014 an even more successful year in this field. As I keep on saying, we may be good in all of these things, but we need to be great. So there are specific challenges that we need to tackle in order to be great during this period. Too many of our people remain cynical, inactive, and if they are active, not so proactive, and if they are proactive, not so productive. The attitude from among some is perhaps that CUT belongs to management, or in particular to Mthembu or council, and that these are the only people who have brains to think about what needs to happen. I talked earlier about the A-team. That's a group of people who are trying to show everybody that we do not have to wait for management, we do not have to wait for council, we can do things ourselves. I would like to see more and more people adopting that kind of proactive and productive attitude. The programs we have in place to develop our people have yet to produce broad-ranging and unequivocal outcomes, mainly because they are small relative to the vast needs. We need to find partners from business and industry, from government, and from broader society that could support us in order to deepen and broaden these programs. Projects that should make people feel they belong, programs that should change their attitude so they begin to be proud of CUT academically, administratively, aesthetically, and otherwise, require consolidation and embedding, and even new innovation. Students must get more and more involved in the life of the university. We could have started this ceremony with some presentations by student groups, be they the ballroom group that I talked about earlier, be they some traditional dance group, be it the choir that I said got first position and so on. They could have been an integral part of this very ceremony. So we need more innovations on how we could embed student activities in everything we do and turn as many of our students into avid participants in sports, wellness, and many other activities that we are about. In 2014, we have allocated a total, and again, over and above the R500 million budget that takes care of many other things in these areas. So in addition to that, we have allocated 14.5 million on people-related projects. There is much we could do with money, but there is so much we can achieve by people participating productively in the affairs of this university. I must say confidently that at CUT we are penny wise. There is this saying in English, penny wise and pound foolish. But here we are penny wise and pound wise. Through setting a number of parameters over the years, we have refocused our available resources, human and otherwise, financial and so forth, to make them work towards achieving Vision 2020. The painful but gainful restructuring exercise I referred to earlier enabled us to drastically reduce the salary budget, thus allowing us to dedicate more resources to what matters most, academia. We never fail to pay our staff here at CUT. I know from the climate survey that I referred to earlier that our staff feel they could be paid better and that they could earn more benefits. Well, the challenge is that if we all work together, if we all innovate, if we are not just proactive, but productive too, if we work towards the common good rather than working for individual gain, we could certainly earn more revenue and pay more. But where are your innovations to help us to produce more products that will earn us more revenue? Over the years, the salary budget has shrunk from almost 75% in 2006, 2007 to 61.96 as of 2014, 61.96%, which is within the reasonable limits set by the Department of Higher Education and Training. Some other university in about August, September last year could not pay salaries simply because they had allowed their salary budget to run all over. So we shall stick to maintaining this. As much as our staff wish to be paid more, my challenge is that think of innovations, think of new things to do that will earn us revenue. Don't ask for more folding your arms. In the area of student financial matters, there are increasingly shriller voices from among students that demand more financial aid from government and from universities. From essentially how a university makes money is to charge student fees, tuition fees. So from the money that we get, CUT has allocated 15 million rand for 2014 back to the students to assist those who are excellent and deserving. In 2013, we also found innovative ways to deal with the National Student Financial Aid Scheme funding crisis, which, as you all know, has caused a lot of disruptions in many universities. So we came up with some innovative solutions whilst negotiations had been ongoing about this. For these reasons, we never had problems with our students as the year began regarding the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. We welcome a recent announcement that students who could not get the funds in 2013 from NSFAS will receive money from NSFAS to the tune of 24 million rand. This is from NSFAS and the Department of Higher Education and Training. Strategic and operational financial management continued to improve in the year 2013. In 2013, we obtained a clean, unqualified audit from our external auditors for the year 2012. In fact, we have been obtaining such clean audits for as long as I can remember, but certainly since I started at CUT in 2007. Thank you. In fact, for the 2011 financial results, the Minister of Higher Education and Training, the Honorable Dr. Blade Nzimande, wrote to us in a letter dated 27 August 2013, and I must quote something. He said, I quote, "I would like to thank the university for submitting the annual report by 30 June 2012 as required in terms of the regulations for annual reporting by higher education institutions. The unqualified audit opinion received by the university from its external auditors is noted. I wish the council and the university well in continuing to fulfill its academic and public mandate and, I underline this, ensuring a financially sound institution. Now, that is Minister Dr. Blade Nzimande saying this. Remember that the financial maladministration that had been alleged and for which an independent assessor came to investigate CUT in March 2012 was actually in respect of the financial year 2011 that we are being congratulated on. Please note that the Honorable Minister congratulates Council and the University for, I must underline, ensuring a financially sound institution. So listen more to newspapers and think that the Minister has some beef with us. He doesn't. In a bid to further improve on the management of our financial resources, we developed a new resources allocation model in 2013, which will help us to allocate resources fairly and based on revenue generated from different areas. Since 2009, we've been working hard to improve our infrastructure. In 2012 and early 2013, we completed our first building phase of 6 new buildings, 2 of which are at the Welkom campus. For the Welkom campus, these 2 buildings are the first 2 brick and mortar buildings since 1996, or so, thereabout, which is 18 years since then, and about 27 years since that campus was established and managed as a Vista University campus. So, Central University of Technology is very serious about its Vista Welkom campus based on the investments that we are beginning to make in infrastructure there. In fact, from the 314 million rand that we have available for new infrastructure, as from now, in fact, we'll be breaking ground round about May or June this year for about 7 projects that are worth 314 million rand. Of that 314 million rand, a total of 152 million rand will go towards academic and residential buildings and bulk infrastructure at the Welkom campus. The rest will remain here at Bloemfontein. The Welkom campus has not a single student residence. Of the amount that's been allocated to Welkom campus, 73.4 million will go towards building residences there. Now, I announced this in 2012. You may ask, what happened since then? There are processes that we have had to follow. By 28 February 2013, 2012. 2013, 28 February 2013, we had already submitted our detailed plans and sketches for final approval by the DHET. I'm sorry, I made an announcement not in 2012, but 2013. So in February 2013, we had to submit detailed plans to the Department of Higher Education so that it could give us final approval on the projects that we have proposed. In March, April 2013, we started the process of procuring a professional team of architects, quantity surveyors, and the like. The lead professional consultant came on board in July 2013 and appointed the rest of the professional team. They have now been working since October 2013 with our detailed plans. So we are now at the process of procuring a construction team that will start to break ground in about May. The provision of world-class infrastructure remains very high on our agenda. And the infrastructure developments I referred to earlier are actually meant to be complete by December 2014, but they could be completed in phases through prioritization of which buildings might have to be ready sooner than others. So in addition to the figures I've quoted above, 14 million rand to be spent between this year and 2015, In 2014, we have allocated about 33.6 million for various infrastructure-related projects like online academic and administrative systems, integrated security systems, so that we do not get all sorts of people coming in to cause trouble here, wireless networks, and so forth. The Welcome Campus Development Fund of about 3.3 million rand is included in this amount for them to think about anything they need to do at their campus over and above the 151 or 152 million rand or so that's been allocated for infrastructure. All of the above notwithstanding, we have many, many challenges in this area. I don't want to go through them now. I see I've been talking for long. We have a number of things that we are doing in the area of engagement with community. I have made references to the school's advancement academy, to the Saturday school, to the winter school. I have no doubt that the excellent results, matric results, that made the Free State Province #1 had some contribution from CUT through the programs that I've referred to. All of these achievements would not have been possible without the contribution and dedication of our beloved staff members and students alike, and our partners and stakeholders. Thanks to all of you for your contributions towards the realization of our vision. We are indeed looking forward to the year 2014 as a year in which we move beyond the steps to take bold strides in the realization of our vision. Dear friends, to conclude this address, allow me to take you back to where we started. When I spoke about the journey of transformation we have steadfastly followed and which was ushered in by the country's first democratic elections. When some of us who are gathered here stood in long queues to cast a vote for the first time in our lives. It was exactly 20 years ago when the story of our democracy began. But how will that story carry on from 2014 to 2015, from 2015 to 2020, from 2020 to 2030, and so forth? Well, thank heavens, it is not a CUT problem alone, but a national one requiring a collective response. Our narrative at CUT has changed and is changing in steps and strides, as I have tried to illustrate. Our new story, like that of our country, is open-ended with temporary destinations only for new paths to open up once more. It is a story of unfolding learning. Even when we flounder, we remain hopeful. In this story, we always arrive and depart. This is from the National Development Plan of our country. Our cause for celebration is founded on the fact that, yes, that is exactly 10 years now since we adopted our identity as the Central University of Technology, following the merger that I talked about. On 7 November 2013, when we had our management committee planning workshop, I sold the idea of a big occasion. It may be a conference, it may be a celebration of whatever nature. And I may call this year now, this year 2014, I want to call it 2010. 20 years of democracy and 10 years as a University of Technology. I hope an A-team member with vision and energy, supported by the executive team, will work on this idea and make it happen. Students and parents, staff members, members of council, partners and stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, we now look into the bright future, 2014 and beyond. The milestones, achievements, and successes accumulated over the past decade, some of which I have highlighted, can only serve to inspire us to reach greater heights in years and decades to come. Thank you very much for your patience.
After the Vice-Chancellor has dissolved the congregation, the audience will rise and the Vice-Chancellor will lead the procession. Professor Mtembu.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby declare this CUT congregation officially dissolved. On behalf of CUT and the congregation, I thank you all for attending and for showing your support to the Central University of Technology Free State and your support to its vision for socio-economic development of the central region of South Africa. I ask the audience to remain standing while the procession leaves the hall.